Oh my goodness. Hey everyone. Welcome, welcome. Sherry Martin coming to you live here from Port St. Lucie, sitting in my office. And I am so excited. I feel like my lighting's off, but I'm so excited for you guys to meet this incredible woman, Tara Wilson. Hey, I'm adding her to my video. Give me a second. I am so excited for you guys to hear from this amazing woman. Hey, Tara.
Hey, girl.
Tara in the house. Guys, you are in for a treat here tonight. So this is a friend of mine who is my business partner, Tara Wilson, who has been in this industry of network marketing for over 11 years. She is the co-founder of Team Heart. We talk about Team Heart all the time. And love you. And she's co-founder of Team Heart. She has built a team of over 300,000 people in 12 different countries. You heard me right, guys. 300,000 people in 12 different countries. She has over $400 million in income and almost $200 million in team sales. She has helped create more than 6 millionaires and over 150 six-figure earners. I don't know about you guys, but I want to know what it is she's doing, and I want to be a part of her team, which we are. So she also retired her husband in 5 years, within 5 years of doing this industry. So this is Tara Wilson. She is a Pro 9 here with our company, which is almost at the top of our company. We have 10 ranks. And before I go into some questions that I have for you, I want you just to spend a few minutes with us. And I know you've been very busy. I guess when you make $70,000 a month, Tara, you're very busy buying houses and moving all over the place. And we can say that because we're publicly traded. So I want you to just share with us, you know, how you got introduced to the industry of network marketing, from what you were doing, and why. Why did you decide to do it?
Well, hi, everyone, and thank you for having me, Sherry. I'm just looking at this shadow on my forehead.
You look beautiful.
Well, first of all, I wanted to just make a quick correction. I have not made $400 million. I've only made $4 million.
Oh,
but
$4 million.
That sounds like a really good goal. I hope there was a lot of love buttons on that. And yes, I'm sitting here in an Airbnb awaiting signing papers tomorrow for our new house. I'm excited. How I got in the industry, well, in March of 2007, I was happily going along with my life as a wholesale mortgage broker. And at the time I had an 11-month-old and a 7-year-old, an 11-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy. And my husband and I both worked full time. And I went to a birthday party at my sibling's house, and my stepbrother came out with a health product and said, hey, there is a really cool new health product on the market, and there is a lot of money to be made. And at first I was like, okay, well, why are you telling me? I'm in mortgage, right? I was making a 6-figure income. My husband had a 6-figure income. Sounds like a lot, but in the San Francisco Bay Area, we were able to buy a 1,200 square foot condo with a dual 6-figure income. And it wasn't the money. It really wasn't the money that got me excited. I mean, yes, of course, that's exciting, but I had never met anybody who had made any money in these home-based businesses, right? And then my sister called me a couple days later. My stepsister called me and said, you know what, there's really something to this. And being a healthy person, I was like, okay, well, at least try the product, right? And then I started doing a little research, and then I agreed to the defining thing is I agreed to go to the presentation, right? That was 11 years ago. We had to drive, you know, half an hour, sit in an office. These days, with the speed, there was no Facebook, by the way. There was no smartphones when I got involved. Everything we did was over the phone, on conference calls, through email, or in live. Now, today, fast forward, we'll talk about this later, the speed of doing business is unbelievable. Like, there was no Facebook. I mean, can you remember life without Facebook? But I went to the presentation and I was blown away. And what I saw was an industry I didn't know existed, and the possibility of possibly someday in the future, 3 to 5 years down the road, being able to replace my 6-figure income and be home with my kids. So that was the number one thing that got me involved. It was just someone saying, hey, you know what if? And I, went and explored the what if possibilities, and now here we are 11 years later.
Craziness. I'm so blessed that you said yes. And I have been watching you on your YouTube channel for a long time now, because I've been in the industry of network marketing for 5 years, and I've dabbled in a lot of companies, and I just wasn't successful. And I didn't realize, you know, how important it was to find the right company, not just with a great product, but at the right time. So leads me to my first question for you is, you know, there's so many companies out there, Tara. There's so many different comp plans. There's so many trending products, brand new companies launching. You know, why is having a good comp plan so important? And why did you choose our company out of all the companies out there? What made you say yes, that you finally found your home?
Right. Well, those are two very different companies, or questions. So I'm going to go with the first one first, is why I chose this company. Because yes, comp plan is very important. You definitely want to get paid for doing the work. But after, let's see, 8.5 years in the industry, I'd been in a few companies, one for 5 years, helped the company to $1 billion, did over 160 million just in that company, got a lot of experience. But I really kind of knew who I was and what I wanted at this time. There's my poor 12-year-old home sick. That's the great thing about being a stay-at-home mom is, you know, my husband's sitting here on the couch. Say hi, honey.
Hey, honey.
There's
there's
the cabana boy. There's my hot husband. Now that's the perk about, you know, what we do is me and my husband get to work from home all day. I mean, there's nothing better than hanging out all day with your best friend, right?
Right.
But I really knew who I was and what I wanted. And I was clear on the vision of one thing. I'm going to spend the rest of my life helping people get healthy through products and education. Now, I've only been involved with health companies by design. That's why I got into the industry. That's what I loved about the industry. And that's why I will stay in this industry. I know there's a lot of great cryptocurrencies and telecom and makeup and jewelry. And I think they're awesome if that's what you're passionate about. I just particularly am passionate about health and wellness, right? So having been involved with some pretty decent, really decent companies, really good technologies, I knew what I wanted. And I actually had a friend who was in this company for 6 years. And I was most intrigued because I knew who she was as a person, my enroller in this current company. I knew who she was as a person. I knew what she stood for. And, you know, health was a core value of hers as well. And I saw her as a multimillionaire in another company, as just a cross-line friend. And I was very intrigued that in the same time period that I went like this and slammed down to nothing, that she was still growing. And I was like, well, aren't all companies supposed to have this big run and then drop? No, those are called trendy companies. Those are the flash in the pans. Those are the flavors of the month. Those are the ones that don't have staying power. So reason number one I chose this company is, number one, it's 9 years as an MLM, 15 years as a product. So for the first 6 years, we were sold retail in thousands of stores and across the United States, GNCs and vitamin shops and CVS's and a lot of stores. And then we were a solid, consistent MLM for 9 years. So a lot of people are like, oh, you got to be involved in our company because it's ground floor. We're just launching. No offense, because some of them go on to do great things and there was always a launch. But I think that's the worst time to join a company. Just my opinion. Because I was with a startup. I helped launch a company, and guess what? It never launched, right? Because you never know. Everything sounds great in theory, but you never know how it's going to translate to a market. So number one, it had to have a solid foundation. It was already in the Direct Selling Association top global 100 companies for 3 years before I got involved. And that was important to me. Number two, it had to have a product that was unique. I had learned a very hard lesson in my, last company before this, that we had a commodity, and it was really great. We did $160 million in my team in 12 countries. But what I found is if you don't have something unique and you could get something similar at Costco or Target or Walmart or on Amazon, you're out of business, right? So the fact that we have a unique 7 patents, 24 studies on our one product, our flagship product, it was affordable, it's unique, it's clinically proven. When I joined, 2 years, 9 months ago, not quite 3 years ago, we had 6 patents and 16 studies. And today we sit on 7 patents just in the US and 24 published studies. One of them, a year and a half after I joined, was the National Institute of Aging proved that our supplement was the only thing that extended life. We should be able to start in every conversation, right?
Right.
Affordability was a big thing. And I'd say the number 3 most important one was retention, right? If I know how to build a network, we can teach you how to build a network, But if people don't stay in the network, have a job. If you have to keep replacing your team every month, you have a job. And I wanted a leveraged income. I wanted to be able to move out of state and take a a little time to myself and not have to worry that my team was falling apart. In fact, in this last 2 months have been the craziest of my life, personal stuff, vacations, moving, packing my house in California, all of a sudden, doing weeks of work to sell it, to come to Arizona, to start over. That's I've been working in between, but it's also been a time that's been crazy. And I think my income, I know my income's grown in that time, where if I were, back in mortgage or in some kind of sales where it's just me, I don't work that much, my check goes down. And so this industry obviously is amazing for that. And we've built something that, Team Heart, like you say, you talk about Team Heart. We've built something that has systems that we can teach the newest person, that they don't have to always be talking to the millionaires in the company to have success, that they can come in and follow a plan, follow a proven system, and have predictable results. So that's one of my biggest wins in my career, is being a co-founder of a team that's helping people just do that.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this team, is anybody can do this business. You guys have made this so easy with our private Facebook pages and all of your knowledge, just everything. And it's funny that you talk about retention, because that was my second question, is retention is so important. I was with a startup company before I joined this company, and that's where I found you, just searching for leaders. And I was one of the first 3 in my state. The company was 6 months new. And I did make a ton of money, but the retention wasn't there. And I don't know about you, Tara, but I don't want to build my legacy again. I don't want to go through that. It doesn't feel good when you're not confident enough to go to bed at night and being like, they're going to love my product, right? Or just all the issues we have with startup companies. So, retention is so important. It is so crazy important. I want you to share with us, what is our company's retention right now, like from customers to distributors, and, the overall retention of our distributors that we have joining our team and so forth, or the company.
Oh, it's how do I say this? Let me see. Well, before I started, I had about 60,000 distributors and a couple 100,000 customers in my last company. And when I quit, I had 4,777 of them on auto ship, probably about 1.5%. And when I was talking to my good friend Carrie, who's my enroller in this company, and I said, she had put in 9,000 distributors and 90,000 customers, and she had 27,000 on auto ship. I'm like, wait, you put in 200,000 people less than I did,